Okay. Hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are from. I'm Praveen. I'll be your instructor for this Playwright course that we are going to learn in terms of the demo session for today. So let's give an introduction about I myself, and then we'll start with the agenda that we have in terms of our today's demo session. So I'm Praveen. I have over 13 years of experience in terms of industries, in terms of the software testing. I have like handled many projects, worked as a head of engineering, head of QA as well inside the organizations. I've worked on different tools and technology, which involves with starting with manual testing, and then for automation tools, I have worked on different and various sort of tools and technology, which starting with Selenium, Java, Python, JavaScript. Then for the API automation, I have also worked on for Java using REST assured library of API test for the API testing. Then I've worked on for APM, which is again mobile automation testing. I've also gone through various set of tools and technology, which includes Cypress using JavaScript, TypeScript, Playwright using JavaScript, TypeScript, and Java. Uh, in my past 11 years are of careers in terms of the software testing. Before that, I was working as a developer, and then in terms of like teaching field, if I talk about, I have been teaching from the last close to 5 years, which I teach to the different number of student. I have also conducted a various sort of corporate training as well, which is like more than 15 corporate session I have taken in the last 4 years of career of the teaching. Now that's a bit about I myself, who will be your instructor for the Playwright courses over here. Now we'll talk about the agenda that we'll have for our Playwright JavaScript demo session, which will be the first demo for 2 days. So we'll talk about few of the things. We'll not directly jump to any of the script writing, any of the installation today. We'll try to see few of the questions that you people might be having, or whenever I join as a student inside any of the courses, I generally ask few of the questions to I myself. So in that way, we'll be covering a few of the things. One is, what is the benefit of joining this course? What is the course content? Which will be again a Playwright using JavaScript. So what are all the things that we'll be covering up in terms of JavaScript and in terms of Playwright? Who can enroll for this course? And is there any kind of prerequisite that we'll also talk about in terms of our today's session? The most important things that we'll talk about is why Playwright. There are different tools and technology available in the market, but why Playwright? We'll also talk about few of the differences between Playwright and Cypress, few of the advantages that we have in terms of using Playwright over Selenium and Cypress. That we'll also talk about in our today's session. We'll also cover up like why should you learn it now rather than waiting for a few months or a few years to again start learning for the Playwright. Then the next will be which we'll discuss like after the course completion, what you will gain out of this course, where you will be in terms of after completion of the courses, what will be the course duration, course highlights, basically like what all the things that makes a course highlight over here. And then at the end, we'll also talk about the question and answer. So before we jump for any kind of questions that you see over here or any kind of agenda that we see over here, if you people uh, feel free, like basically feel free to have or ask any kind of questions wherever and whenever you think that you have any kind of questions. Second is, stop me or interrupt me in between as well if you think that you need some kind of clarity or you have some kind of questions in terms of going through with the agenda. Okay. Or I'll also request you people that whoever have joined over here, please share me your phone number, which can, if you can share your WhatsApp contact number and your name would really be helpful for us in terms of sharing few of the documents, few of the links that you can go through with before we start our real session. That means a class one. Now let's jump to the first things that we have in terms of what is the benefit of joining the course. So if you see that I have made it over here in terms of what is the benefit of joining the course over here that you have enrolled for or that you are going through with the demo over here. So one thing that you will be having is a practical hands-on on all the basics and advanced concepts. So when we talk about a basics and advanced concept, it includes like JavaScript in the initial stage, and then we'll also go for a Playwright. We'll talk about that in terms of the course content, which is our second part of our agenda. But in terms of this question, this benefit of joining the courses is like not only you'll get the theoretical, but you'll also get the complete hands-on for all the basic, even a silly basic kind of things will go in detail along with the examples. And this practical will be something we use in the industry. How do we use in the industry? Exactly in the similar way, we'll also go over here. At the end of the course, like after the completion, whenever we complete the courses or whenever we go for development of the framework that we'll be developing in such a way that you can directly copy and paste that inside your organization if you are trying to start from scratch. So ready to use framework inside the organization. That means whatever the framework that will be developing over here, you can directly use that inside your organization as well if you are starting it from scratch for using the framework. One-on-one mentorship. What is in this? So let's say you have joined the course, you have gone through with live sessions, you have also gone through with the recording. After that, also, if you have any kind of questions, feel free to ping me at any point of time, as I'll be your instructor, a technical instructor over here. For any kind of technical details, any kind of technical doubts, or any kind of things, you can ping me. I'll jump on any of a call, either a phone calls or any of the webinar. I can jump you to cover up the details, whatever the doubts that you have to provide the solution. So that will be a one-to-one mentorship where you get doubt, you can like you always feel free to ask me any sort of doubt that you have. We'll also covering up the resume preparation. Most of the important things is that we have gone through, but a lot of people will struggle in terms of making or formatting the resume depending on the skill set that we are trying to learn. So we'll also cover up in as a part of our course content, which is resume preparation, interview preparation. This is again a most important things. Generally, we join any kind of course thinking that after completion of course, we should be ready for the interview. Now, how do we evaluate ourselves that we are ready for the interview? We have gone through with the course, we have practiced everything, but how do we evaluate? So if any one of you, whoever will be joining the course, or whoever are here, if any one of you think that before going for any kind of interview, you are trying to, as like if you would like to assess yourself by providing any kind of mock interviews, will also be supported from my side. I'll also conduct the mock interviews to tell you what is positive, what is negative, what you can work on, and so that you learn in that way in a better way. You'll be going for the interview in a confident manner. If you have a confidence, you should be able to crack the interview, any kind of interview, whatever the level that they will be asking. And in the same way for the interview preparation as well, we'll also provide you the n number of a set of questions that generally they'll be asking. Usually I have conducted more than 1,000 interviews till date on different tools and technologies. So I am aware of what basically organization ask the questions from different level of employees, like what they'll ask for the freshers, what they'll ask for mid-level employees who is having 5+ years of experience, what they'll be asking for 10+ years of experience, and so on. So in that case, we'll also be able to cover up what you have to prepare if you're going as a freshers, what you have to prepare if you're going for a 2 to 3 years of experience that you have, and so on. So different level of experience will also matter over here in terms of the interview preparation. So all the guidance will be provided as a part of our course, not only um, till we conduct the course, but after the course completion as well, we can support you for the interview preparation. Any help during or after the course completion will also be taken care. It is something that you get stuck at any point of time, you can always ping me, as I said, and I'll be able to provide you the solution. If you need any kind of interview preparation, resume preparation, even after the course completion, will also be supported from myself. And at the end, you'll also get a course completion certification. Like that means a certificate from the Isha Group. Okay, so these are few of the benefits that you have. Apart from that, there will be a lot of benefits. As I said, one-to-one mentorship. It will be related to your technical things. It will be related to your career guidance. It will be related to your interview preparation, your course that you have not understood. Let's say you have gone through with the live session, but you did not understand say, one of a concept, but you could not ask him in that live session. You can again ping me or call me for that kind of things to make you understand how does it work in terms of the technical and so on. So whatever the questions that you people will be having. Okay, I'll again request you people to share me your contact number, which will be a WhatsApp number and your name, so that it will be helpful for us to reach you with some kind of documents for the uh, f- uh, preparation of courses, and before you join the courses will be helpful for you to do some kind of activities. Now the main agenda over here is like what is the course content that we have over here. So we are generally going for Playwright using JavaScript. Also, if you do not want to share to the all people, you can also share in the private. You will get the option of chat inside the chat as a private to share your contact number and name. So course content, generally, this is the main things that we are looking over here. So this course will consist of a Playwright using JavaScript. Now, what are the things that we are covering up over here in terms of JavaScript and Playwright? So this is the complete course content that we have developed over here. This course content consists of the JavaScript from the scratch, whatever we require in terms of the test automation, each and everything will be covered over here. Let's say you are a freshers, or you have work experience, or you are working as a QA manager or QA lead. If you have worked on different tools and technology earlier, or if you have never worked on any kind of tools and technology earlier, or if you come from any other background than the non like than the technical background, or if you are from the non-technical background, each and everything's will be provided in detail along with the hands-on practice, which will be which is why this course content is unique from the other institute that are available in the market. So for the first couple of weeks, we'll be covering up with a JavaScript. One that will be starting from the scratch, which will also be covering up like how do we install, what is the prerequisite for going for a JavaScript, what are the installation that we have to do. Will after completion of like basics, which is we'll go for the variables, what are different types of variables, data types, operators in JavaScript that we have, statements, which is also known as conditions like loop, um, if and else statement, there are switch statement and so on. Looping concept will go through to understand what are different types of loops that are available inside the JavaScript. These will be frequently usable in terms of the test automation. Most of the time we'll be using these concepts inside the test automation whenever we go for either Playwright or any other tools. Then we'll go for understanding like functions. How do we declare functions? What are different types of functions or different ways in which we can declare the functions? Object creation. We'll understand what is object. Object is if you have worked earlier on any of the tools and technology other than like JavaScript and TypeScript, an object is a bit different over here in terms of JavaScript. So everything will be covered from the very basic level to understand the concept in a very easy manner. arrays, strings. There are arrow functions and asynchronous nature of which is async await will be covered as a part of our course for the JavaScript. This will be starting from the scratch where it will start from the variables and end at the complete class level, which will come inside the object. Like how do we create a class? How do we create functions? How do we create strings? How do we declare strings? Or what is meant by a synchronous concept that we have in terms of JavaScript? All these things will be covered from the basic level, theoretically as well as the practical things. You'll also be provided a complete course content, complete a document for going through with the Playwright. So if I talk about that, this is the document that we have prepared for JavaScript along with Playwright. This will cover up the each and every methods that we have in terms of for the course, which is Playwright. Whenever we start with complete architecture of Playwright, architecture of Selenium that I have given to compare the architecture of Playwright, advantages that we have, and so on. So most of the things, like 99, this will work as your cheat sheet kind of for Playwright using JavaScript. And after completion of JavaScript, will move towards the introduction of Playwright, which like will go for the what is the advantage that we have in terms of Playwright, installation of Playwright, what do we require as a prerequisite to start with Playwright. And then from there on, we'll move to a basic, which is a core.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. Actually, I'm working as a software engineer, senior software engineer. So few of my colleagues told me like we need to go by TypeScript rather than JavaScript. So can you please tell me like what is the difference between here we are choosing JavaScript or TypeScript? Do we cover the OOPS concept here in JavaScript?
So in general, what happened in terms of the OOPS concept is even if we try to go for a TypeScript, we'll generally not be using OOPS concept inside the test automation. So if your colleague whoever have suggested you have been already working on Playwright using TypeScript, you can also get a suggestion from him that generally will not be using OOPS concept apart from inheritance concept. That will also be 1% of the time we'll be using, not 99% of the time. So OOPS concept, we do not require to work with JavaScript and TypeScript. The classes, class concept and the creation of object, which is also a part of OOPS, will come into picture, which a class and object. Now, if you talk about the differences that we have in terms of JavaScript and TypeScript, there are only 5% difference. 95% of the code that you write in JavaScript, generally 100% of the code that you write in JavaScript is a TypeScript, and 95% of the TypeScript code are JavaScript. The only difference is that in terms of a TypeScript, we also have to mention the types that you are trying to declare. Okay, so in one of our session, I'll also try to show you that what is difference between JavaScript and TypeScript. As I said, there are only 5% difference. There will only be a 5% difference between the JavaScript and TypeScript. I'll also show you that as well in our one of our session.
Sure. Thank you.
Great. Any other question? Okay. Now, after the installation of Playwright, we'll go for a core concept of Playwright, where we'll try to understand how do we create project, how do we start writing the test case, what is test annotation, what is async await concept, what are different types of special type of function that Playwright has given is also known as fixtures. We'll talk about the configuration that we do in terms of a Playwright and so on. And after that, we'll go for writing a basic test case, which will run on different browsers. We'll see like what are different types of browser that it supports, what are different types of operating system that it supports, and we'll try to run the test cases on multiple browsers. After completion of basics, we'll also go for a few of the basics, which is like how do we different types of locator that Playwright support, different types of methods that are available, entering the text value, clicking on an element, getting the text value, locating multiple elements. What is a wait mechanism that we have in terms of Playwright? As Playwright automatically waits for the elements that we'll again see If time permits, we'll see in our today's session itself, or else we'll see in our tomorrow session as a part of again demo that what are the different advantages that we have in terms of Playwright. After that, we'll go for handling UI components, a basic UI component which comes under like different types of drop down, like static drop down, dynamic drop down, auto suggestive drop down, radio button, checkbox, child windows. There are few tools that Playwright has given, which is again amazing for debugging purpose. We'll go to understand Playwright inspector, traces view. It has also given a record and playback tool. We'll also go through along with like all the concept that we have in terms of record and playback in detail again, which will automatically generate the test script by using Playwright. After that, we'll move towards an advanced level where we'll go for handling a dynamic elements, auto-suggestive dropdowns, what are different types of assertions, and we'll go for writing end-to-end test automation in terms of our course. And then after that, we'll go a bit more advanced level where we'll try to check how do we handle pop-ups, how do we handle frames, how do we upload files, and then shadow DOM elements handling as well. We'll see in terms of Playwright. If you are aware of shadow DOM elements, then you might be knowing if you have worked on Selenium earlier, you might be knowing how hard it used to be in terms of handling. But Playwright or generally consider it as a simple element handling. Will also cover up that as a part of course content. After that, we'll start with a basics of API, which is where we'll cover this course content basically is for the Playwright web automation, where I have included few concept of the API, where we'll see like a manual testing of the API using a Postman and using Playwright as well. We'll see a basic of like get, post, put, and delete method. We'll try to implement as a part of the API testing. We'll also write a script which will be a mix of web and API to check how can this Playwright feature which it has given as a part of API testing. It has automatically support the API testing as well, will be helpful for us in terms of going for test automation. Then we'll go for how do we take the screenshot for the page and specific element. We'll also try to see like what is visual testing that Playwright also supports, like comparing the page by page. You take this screenshot and compare it page by page, how it is working in terms of the Playwright. And then we'll go for generation of a framework using page object model. So page object model is basically demand in the market, which is again in terms of maintenance part, it used to be very easy. So we'll see how do we convert our test script into page object model. We'll see like generation of a framework completely from scratch. How do we get the data from different files by JSON and then also from the constant classes that we'll be creating? How do we parameterize the test case, project configuration? How do we retries whenever our test case fail? How do we automatically retries for this serial and parallel execution? And we'll see a few other concepts in terms of the test automation. We'll see like how do we tag the test case or how do we group the test case? How do we generate different kind of reporting after that, which is like HTML and your report as a part of Playwright automation. We'll also cover up a CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins, and GitHub will also be covered up inside that. So GitHub will also be covered up from the basics, like how do we start with whenever you go inside any of the organization and so on. So how do we use GitHub, different kind of commands that we have in terms of GitHub will also be taken care along with the CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins. And whatever the framework that we'll be creating inside our course will implement or will integrate using the Jenkins to see how do we set up the Jenkins pipeline. So this will be the complete course content that we'll be going through with. Along with this, we'll also provide you the recordings of the BDD Cucumber framework. If anyone is interested in learning the BDD Cucumber framework, we'll also provide. But generally, organization avoid going for a BDD Cucumber framework using Playwright because there are certain disadvantages for going with Playwright along with BDD. Because Playwright is also a framework and BDD Cucumber is also a framework that we have in terms of tools and technology that are available. So these are the course content that we have. Now, who can enroll for this? So as I talked about earlier, a freshers who is fresh after completion of the college, a person who have already worked on for 5 years, 10 years, or who is working for senior QA, QA lead, QA manager, a developer who is trying to integrate their test case using Playwright for unit and integration testing, and whoever is trying to transfer trying to also learn the new technologies, new tools and technology in the market. So for all the levels, all the QA levels, and for the development team, if they are trying to write unit and integration testing, this course have been developed for all those people that I have mentioned. Now, any prerequisite to join this course? No, there is no prerequisite that you have in terms of your in terms of you to join the course or enroll the course. As I have gone through with the course content, each and everything will be taken care from the scratch. Uh, People's earlier have had a long gap, like 7, 8 years of gap as well. Whoever joined the course and they have received the job, they have got the job. People from the non-technical background as well, they joined the course and have got the job. From the recently last 3 batch, there were like 65% of the people have already received the job, or they have converted themselves as an automation tester inside their own organization. So when I select 65% of the people, few of them, like most of them were whoever were practicing. I also guarantee over here as well that if you go through with each and every concept in detail, try to understand and try to practice by yourself, you will definitely be one of the again next person to get the job on the Playwright. Because if you see in the market, that I'll anyways talk about why should we learn Playwright. So that's about the who can enroll and in prerequisite. Now, why Playwright? So if we talk about a Playwright, now I'm talking about over here as a why Playwright. So if you see a why Playwright, let me show you the document that I have prepared over here as a part of automation. So why Playwright? There are different advantages that we have in terms of learning for a Playwright. So if you have already worked on, let's say, Selenium or other tools in the past, or if you are a freshers, then again try to understand why Playwright that we are going over here. I'll again request people, if you have not shared your name and phone number, please provide so that I can share you some important documents to you. Just a request again, if you do not want to provide, that's completely fine, but it would be helpful for us in terms of reaching back to you with some kind of documents. Okay. Now let's talk about why Playwright. There are different tools available in the market, which is Cypress. There are different tools which is available in the market, which is Selenium running from the last 20 years. But now, why Playwright certain, or why are we going for learning Playwright? So there are different advantages that we have in terms of learning Playwright. One, Playwright is an end-to-end automation tool, which is having a waiting concept, which by default wait for an element. So uh, what is meant by this? So generally, whenever we go for writing the test case, in terms of, let's say, if you are working with Playwright, or in terms of working with Cypress, or if you have worked with Selenium earlier. So what happened in terms of Selenium is, if you are trying to automate any concept or automate any element, you generally have to wait for element to display on the page. And for that, we have to use either implicit wait or explicit wait, something known as a waiting concept that you should have to write to appear the element on the page and then go for the next step. Playwright automatically handle those kind of things. For each and every action that we try to make for any of the element, in terms of a Selenium, we have to write a couple of lines of code, whereas Playwright automatically handles by default waiting for 30 seconds for an element. What is in the 30 seconds? So it will wait for 30 seconds for any of the element. That means every time it will not wait for 30 seconds. If the element has not appeared on the page, then it will try to wait maximum for 30 seconds automatically. We do not even have to write a single line of code to wait for an element and then interact with the element. So this is again one of a benefit where stale element exception, if you have worked with Selenium, have already gone over here. Because in terms of Selenium, whenever the element is not available on the page and you try to interact with the element, you will get stale element exception and it will throw us an error. Whereas Playwright automatically check those kind of things by waiting for 30 seconds on the page in terms of working with a test automation. So that is something which will again be an advantage over other tools, which is having 30 seconds. If you go for Playwright also waits by default, but only for 4 seconds. This 30 seconds you can also override. There is a capability that it has given that you can also increase to 60 seconds or 100 seconds depending on your scenario. Now, Playwright works on different tools and technologies. Playwright works on different kind of operating system, different kind of browsers. So it supports a major browser which is available in the market as Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, Opera. So if you talk about a major browser, right? So currently, whatever I am going through with, I'm displaying, I am trying to show you something on my Windows operating system. I do not have Safari browser available inside my system. But in our next session, as a part of demo, we'll see that how do we run the test case on Safari browser as well. That means even if you do not have any kind of browser installed in your system, even if you do not have any browser installed in your system, Playwright will automatically run on each and every browser that you have mentioned to run your test case. Though you do not have any browser available inside your system, but still it will support running your test case on different browser that you provide. Example, let's say if you do not have Google Chrome available inside your system and you are trying to run your test case on Google Chrome, it will not even try to install any kind of things inside your system and will automatically run the courses, run the test case on the Google Chrome browser. So that is what the capability it has given. Whereas if you are trying to work with Playwright and you try to run on different browsers, you should have those browsers available inside your system to work with. Else it will not run your test case on different browser. Playwright says that you do not require any browser inside your system to work with. It also supports on multiple browsers, multiple operating system, which is Windows, Mac, Linux, and also supports the native mobile emulation for Google Chrome for Android and mobile iOS in Safari. That means whatever the code that you write for the web automation, it will also work on the browser of Android mobile as well as iOS mobile. That means the native browser, which will be a Google Chrome for Android and Safari for iOS, the same code that you can run on the mobile as well. You do not have to change any single line of code to run your web automation testing on the browser of your specific mobile that you are using, either Android or iOS. The one biggest advantage that we have in terms of working with Playwright is it supports a multiple language. It supports a different kind of language, which is JavaScript, TypeScript, Java, Python, C Sharp, .NET, and so on. I was talking about few of the excellent features that it has given in terms of a debugging purpose, which is known as traces. Traces is a feature that Playwright has given, which automatically generates the log. You do not have to take care of any logging part. When we select log, if you have worked with Selenium, you might be knowing that what is log? Log is something that whatever you have gone through a step-by-step procedure to automate the test case. And that you are trying to log inside a file so that you can present your test lead or your management, right? Playwright automatically generate those kind of things. We do not have to depend on any of the third-party tool to integrate with to generate the logs. Playwright will automatically generate the log for that as well. One major advantage that we have is it automatically takes the screenshot of the page as well. It also generates the automatically recording of the test case as well. This is one of the biggest advantages that we have in terms of Playwright, that it also automatically generates the screenshot as well as generate the test recording. Not only that, it also retries automatically. So if you have gone through earlier with Selenium or any other tools, you might be knowing that for retrying logic, retrying means whenever your test case get failed, you automatically try to run the test case again to check if it is a real failure or some other issues. So those kind of validation Playwright will also automatically do by running your failed test case again and again multiple times, however, whatever the number of times that you are trying to run. And then, as I said, logging mechanism, it will automatically log. For a debugging purpose, it has given a tool known as inspector tool. Inspector tool is a tool where you can see the step-by-step execution as well. You will see what happened before the execution, what happened after the execution. That means you can also time travel whenever it generates the inside the inspector tool. What is meant by time travel? Means let's say you want to see the execution, whether it has followed really the execution in the same way or not. Generally, you cannot find by using the reporting, whereas by inspector tool, you can go and check what happened before it, let's say, clicked on any element, what happened after clicking on any element. All those steps will be defined in a greater detail manner to check, to debug your test case if it has failed, and to see like what kind of steps that it has followed inside the inspector tool itself. It will help us in monitoring, debug every steps of execution, see the click points, what happened like before, what happened after, and it will also generate different kind of screenshot for each and every pages that it has automatically gone through inside the test step. Okay. Now I was talking about one of our course content, which is API. So Playwright has a built-in support for API. If you are working with Selenium, you might be knowing that if you are trying to take the help of API, then you have to go with rest assured library of Java or any other library that are available for API testing. Playwright by default supports the API testing as well, which we can take the help to automate our web automation testing and also combine with the web automation testing as well. We'll see this part as a course content as well whenever we move for API testing. Earlier, I was talking about one of a tool that it has given known as CodeGen tool. CodeGen tool is a tool that Playwright has given to automatically generate the steps. You just have to navigate inside the application and it will automatically start generating the test script for you. It will automatically generate the locator. It will automatically generate the steps, whatever the steps that you are going through with. All the things, it will automatically start writing the test case as well. And you can basically import those in terms of different languages using JavaScript, TypeScript, Java, Python, .NET. You can import those test cases, whatever test step that it generates CodeGen to. Now, one advantage that I was talking about in about the Shadow DOM. If you have worked with Shadow DOM element, then you might have gone through a lot of research that how do we handle the Shadow DOM element. When I initially started working on Selenium, it was a nightmare for me to handle Shadow DOM elements, which I ultimately had taken 3 days of time to handle the Shadow DOM elements. Playwright consider the Shadow DOM element as a basic element and it handles however it handle a normal elements. I'll talk about what is Shadow DOM in our real session whenever we go for a player. Now these are few of the advantages that we have. There are many other advantages, but these are the few of the advantages that why people and organization are moving towards Playwright. Why people and organization are moving towards Playwright. These are the advantages that we have in terms of Playwright. These are the few advantages. There are many other which will come across the courses. We'll see like how what are different advantages that we have. I'll come to Playwright versus Cypress and Playwright versus Selenium in next 10 minutes of time. But before that, let's see other part of the things as well. So why should you learn it now rather than waiting for some months or a year? So Playwright is in the market from the last 4 years. Playwright is currently growing. If you see the graph of Playwright, it is exponentially growing. In 2021, there were less number of people. 22, it doubled. In 23, it again doubled from the 22. In 24, it threefolded. And in 25, it is again keep on growing. Lots of the organization, lots of the people are moving towards Playwright because of faster execution time. Because of the execution, the test execution used to be much faster in terms of Playwright. Why? It depends on the also architecture of Playwright and Selenium that it differs. So we'll also understand the architecture in our one of a demo session. Then you'll try to understand what is the difference over here in terms of Selenium and Playwright and why people and organization are moving towards Playwright because of execution. It used to be much faster in terms of Playwright. Not only that, developer also starts nowadays started using Playwright because using a Playwright, they can also write unit testing and integration testing as well. So what happened in this case is whatever the gap there were earlier between the developer and the tester, that have been filled. Playwright a developer will also be able to understand Playwright test case, and tester will also be able to understand the unit test case that have been written by the developer. So ultimately, you will also be able to review their code, and they will also be able to review your code. And that makes a close collaboration between the development team and QA team. And that's why we should have to learn and why people and organization are going towards Playwright. Now, when I talk about why we should, it's just because Playwright is in the market from the last 4 years. There are huge number of job openings. If you have seen the job openings, organization are mentioning like Selenium requirement, but they also mention like you need to have Playwright work experience or Playwright knowledge. And that is where you see a lot of jobs that are available in the market. I've seen like 60% of the jobs which requires a Playwright for the test automation, which was not there earlier 1 year ago. One thing is that there are huge number of job in the market. Second is there are less number of skilled person are available in the market for Playwright. When we talk about the less, the demand is more, the people are less, so the competition used to be very less over there. When we talk about a competition in terms of the interview competition, in terms of the skill set that we have, you is very less when we compare with the Selenium. There are n number of people are available with the experience of Selenium, and the competition are more. For one job, you'll see like thousand of application, but in terms of Playwright, for one job, you'll not find more than 10 to 15 employees are applying for the job because the skill set are less, demand are more. So whenever you go for interview, the interview level will also be a simple right now because the interviewer are also having only the experience, the maximum experience they'll be having is of 3 years. Okay, so interview purpose will also be a very simple. Cracking the interview will also be very simple in terms of Playwright. As it is new and growing fastly, organizations are moving towards Playwright. And that is where you should learn Playwright now rather than waiting for a couple of months or couple of years. If you wait for an year or months, the competition will keep on growing because people and organization are moving towards Playwright. So they'll start learning the new skills in terms of Playwright. The competition will grow, demand will grow, competition will grow, interview will also become tough. Competition will also become tough. And that's where we should have to learn. This is the right time to learn because it's just 4 years in the market for Playwright and it's keep on growing. Now, what you will learn after the course completion. So after the course completion, you will have a confidence that you will be able to handle each and every scenario in terms of a test automation using Playwright. You will also be able to develop the framework from completely scratch. You'll also have the complete understanding of the Playwright and you will be ready for interview to go for interview as soon as we complete the session. Provided provided you also have to practice and do a hands-on whatever we go in terms of the courses. Now, what is the course duration? Is of 35 hours of session, which will be including of Playwright and JavaScript. Daily, the session will be for 1 hour from Monday to Friday, IST. Now, what is the course highlight? So if you see the course highlight, we'll be covering up basic from the basic to advanced level of JavaScript, Playwright, page object model from scratch, along with the data-driven testing. We'll be using different kind of groups. We'll be using different kind of annotations. We'll see in terms of a Playwright, different kind of locators in deep understanding. If you go in terms of the different coaching center that we have in the market, they'll just make you to understand the basic of the locators. How does it work? Um, and how does the Playwright support different kind of? We'll see like why Playwright supports so and so locator, why not, and those kind of comparison we'll see in terms of our courses to understand the deep understanding of the locator. DOM structure, which is also known as document object model, where we'll see like the different elements, attributes of element, will understand in detail. Basic of API testing using Postman and Playwright, one test case for each get, post, put, and delete method. CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins. GitHub will also be covered up as a part of the course content itself. Complete documentation of the Playwright you will get as I was trying to show you. Interview preparation, resume assistance, and many more. Now, the question was like, what is the benefit of joining this course inside this institute? One more benefit is that the course fees are minimal over here. If you compare with the different coaching center that are available in the market, try to find out any of the institute. If they are offering in less than this, I'll match with that. So this is again one of a benefit. In a minimal amount, you will learn more things than the other organization, other institute are providing. I have, I basically have, conducted the sessions on different organizations, and I know what they used to provide the course content. Here, it is completely different inside this particular courses that you are trying to join. I'll come up with the question answer in the next couple of minutes, but let's try to understand what is we have in terms of Playwright versus Selenium. We'll see like Playwright versus Cypress in our next session, but let's try to understand Playwright versus Selenium because Selenium is again one of the important tools that are available in the market right now. So if you see in terms of a comparison between a Playwright and Selenium, these are the features that are listed, Selenium and then Playwright. So in terms of a language support, Selenium also does the similar things, whatever Playwright does. So Playwright also supports some multiple languages. Um, Playwright also supports a multiple language. Selenium also supports a multiple language. We have in terms of a browser support, we have again, both of the tools will support multiple browsers over here. In terms of the Playwright, again, the same. Execution speed, it used to be very slow uh, because of the architecture design, slower due to network latency and WebDriver. The architecture, because of the architecture, it used to be very slow. Sometimes you might have observed that your test automation have stuck at some point of time, and that is happening because of the architecture design that we have in terms of Selenium. We'll also try to understand in our next few sessions regarding the architecture. It used to be faster because it directly interacts with the browser. We do not have any third-party tool which works as a middle layer, which we have a driver, which is like browser driver in terms of Selenium. It requires a WebDriver installation, no WebDriver installation. Playwright automatically manage everything after the installation itself as soon as we go for Playwright installation. The framework, the designing of the framework is a bit complex in terms of designing of the framework is a bit complex in terms of the Selenium, whereas in terms of Playwright, it's much easier. Within 2 minutes of time, you will be able to set up everything to work with Playwright. Headless mode means it will not open the browser, and you will see the test will or automatically start executing without opening the browser. That have been supported by both Selenium and Playwright. Wait mechanisms, as I was talking about, it requires an implicit wait or explicit wait in terms of Selenium, whereas Playwright automatically supports those things as well. Parallel execution, both of them supports, but it much easier in terms of executing the parallel execution for the test case in terms of Playwright. Whereas in terms of Selenium, we have to take the help of third-party tool, which is either TestNG or JUnit. Cross-browser testing, it supports both of them. It used to be very simple in terms of Playwright. We'll see in our course. Frame handling, it is bit complex. You have to switch to the frame, identify the frame, switch to the frame, again go inside a frame, work with, and again come back to the frame. Whereas Playwright supports in a very seamless manner, very easy manner. You just have to write a one single locator and you'll be able to identify the execute your code on the iframe as well. Limited support for the API testing for Selenium, whereas built-in support that Playwright has given to work with API testing as well. I was talking about retries a few minutes ago, that whenever your test case get failed, how do you retry that? So that requires some kind of intervention, manual intervention, or we also have to write some kind of code in terms of Selenium, whereas we have built-in support inside of Playwright. Uh, I'm so sorry, but can you please mute if you're not trying to speak? Now, in terms of test reporting, we have to take the help of third-party tool for Selenium to integrate with. To integrate with Allure in terms of Playwright as well, we have to take the help of Allure API, but there are built-in support for Playwright to generate a beautiful like reporting in terms of the test. So if you see one of our tests, that this is the test report that it generates in terms of Playwright, and you can see like all the steps that it has navigated through, screenshots, it generated the traces, which is log, and it also generates the recording. I've deleted this report, that is why it is showing 0 minute, but it also automatically record the videos as well, video recording of our test cases, test execution as well. Now I was talking about a shadow DOM supported shadow DOM element. It requires a JavaScript for the execution. It is very, very complex in terms of going through with shadow DOM handling. We'll go through in our course and then you'll understand. It has a native support for shadow DOM element. We do not have to do any other things than identify the elements. However, we identify the normal elements. However, we identify for the normal elements. Screenshot and video recording is not supported inside a Selenium by default. Selenium will not be able to automatically take this screenshot and will not be able to support for this screenshot. If you have to take this screenshot for failed and past test case, you have to take the help of commons.io library to work with Selenium. Whereas Playwright automatically supports for taking this screenshot automatically. We do not have to write even a single line of code. And it also generates the video recording that we have seen over here, that the screenshot that we have seen over here, and the traces that you will see going forward inside this. You'll also be able to see that it automatically generates those things without even writing a single line of code. So these are few of the advantages that we have in terms of Playwright and why people are moving towards Playwright nowadays. In terms of Playwright versus Cypress, we'll see in our next session. I'll jump to the Q&A. If you have any kind of questions, will feel free to ask. I'll take like 10 to 15 minutes of time to see if you have any kind of questions. Let me see if you people have posted any questions over here. Can we control test case? Pradeep is asking, can we control test case execution
Yes.
in Playwright?
So like on test ng, we can control the but we can set the priority is equal to 1012 or various feature we have in test ng. So can we control test execution here in Playwright?
Yes. So you should be able to control as you are able to control in terms of Selenium. The controlling part is different, but you should be able to do that as well in terms of Playwright. So every controlling part you can do by using the Playwright as well.
So we need to use the same annotation like @test inside the
No,
annotation.
you'll see, you'll come to know. You do not have to use any annotation. Whatever the
Okay.
order of the test case that you have defined inside a class, that will automatically follow the order.
Okay, same order. Okay. And one more thing I would like to ask, as you mentioned, like Jenkins would be the pipeline we are using here. So can we do same for Azure Microsoft ADO? Can we use that one?
Right. So if you require any customized support, you can again
Mhm.
reach back to me. I'll provide you, like there will be no charges for any kind of supports if they are
Mhm.
customized. Then again, why did not I include Azure is because
Mhm.
everyone will not be working on Azure, right? But
Yeah,
Jenkins
actually
is
in
a
in
generic which will be
mhm.
Mhm.
Actually in my organization they are using ADO
Right. That
pipelines.
is
That's
what I
why.
said. That is what I
Mhm.
said. Like that is
Mhm.
again used to be a customized one. So if
Right.
you want help for that as well, I'll be able to support. But Jenkins is something which is generic and most of the people and every of the people has to
Right.
understand. So I'm covering up as a part of this as well.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I'll take great, thanks. I'll take a couple of questions from here. So will you be using any framework during the course? Yes, I've completed as a part of, I've also gone through with the course content. Base object model framework will be developing over here from scratch. And for the BDD Cucumber, which is not suggestible to use along with Playwright, the recording also will be provided for BDD Cucumber. Now,
Praveen, hello,
I'll
Praveen.
just
My
take a
question.
few minutes and then I'll come to you, Sushil. Will that be okay?
Okay, okay, no issue. But
Yeah.
but my question is regarding same for the
Yes.
Cucumber framework.
Yes. Yes.
That's why.
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
uh, Actually, my company is using Playwright with Cucumber framework. So in this core content, hello.
I'm so sorry, I lost you in between. But your question is like in this
Uh,
course concept, we'll be covering a bonus. That is again a bonus things. If any one of you
mhm.
require a support for the playwright using BDD, I'll provide you the complete support for that. I'll provide you the complete framework generation, complete details of the recording that will be provided. After that, if you have any kind of questions after the course completion to generate the BDD Cucumber framework, you can again reach back to me. I'll jump over a call to make you understand how does it work, how do you have to set up. But everything after the course completion, you will be able to get the knowledge like how do you set up the framework using the BDD Cucumber as
Okay, and one more question is, Playwright is directly supported only mobile browsers, but in terms of in Selenium, we are using APM to check the
well. Right,
testing mobile applications. But in
right. So
Playwright, is there any functional any third party support to check
right,
cover
right.
testing?
Right. So Playwright currently does not support mobile app automation, but it is in the development phase where they'll provide the support for mobile app as well. It might take a 6 month of time or a year of time to go for, but it will also have inbuilt support for app testing as well, mobile app testing as well. Currently, it does not support mobile app automation, but in the future, as it is in the development phase, it will also support the mobile app as well.
Okay, the, that is okay. This is not inbuilt support, but any external tools to integrate with a Playwright and we can test the mobile applications.
You can again use whatever the tools and technology. See, even in terms of a Selenium, APM is entirely different tools. Few of the methods that it has used from the Selenium, but again you have to go for different tools to automate mobile app over here. Playwright will not automatically support, and it is not having any other API libraries to support for the mobile app currently.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Right. The next question is certificate is provided after course completion. Yes, that will be provided. Ishwarya, that was from your. So Gautami, how long is the course program? 35 hours of session, which will be 1 hour daily from Monday to Friday. Alok, will recording be provided? Yes, recording will be provided with which will have a lifetime access. So that will not be deleted any point of time, and your access will also not be taken back any point of time. How many hours a week will be a 5 hours? Everything will be hands-on in terms of going through with the courses. Which is better, JavaScript and TypeScript? Both are almost same. As I said, only there are 5% difference. So only the 5% difference will be there. Feel free to ask any one of you. If you are trying to ask in between, you can ask it. Will you be briefing any API automation? Yes, I'll also be providing some kind of support over there for the API as well. Few of the test case will be writing for API testing. When are we starting the real session? So we used to have 2 demo sessions before we start for the real. So today and tomorrow will be the demo, and then the people will again provide you the real estimation of when we are starting with the real time. But 2 sessions used to be uh, like demo sessions. How many frameworks are supported by Playwright? Playwright supports all types of framework that you are trying to go. But one thing that we have to understand is Playwright is not only a automation tool, it is also a framework. Playwright is also known as a framework. So Playwright itself is a framework. That is where people do not go for any other framework to integrate with Playwright. And that is where I was saying, like BDD Cucumber. So Sheel, as you said, like, I'll give you some kind of points that you can, talk about in terms of inside your organization. And then they'll basically understand what is the disadvantage that we have in terms of working with Playwright using BDD Cucumber. You mentioned that after the course completion, we'll have access to support. How long is the course last after the course support last? So it is not something a time bound. Usually I support for usually we go for supporting, like, whenever you get any kind of doubt for a month time. But let's say after 6 months, if you're getting some kind stuck at any point of time, there is you should not be hesitating to reach back to me even after 6 months of time that you got stuck at any point of time. But as I promise that if you practice it out, however we'll be going through inside our session, in terms of our session, you will do not even you basically do not even require any kind of support, at least after couple of weeks from the course completion. Right. So after that, I definitely believe that you will not require any kind of support in terms of if you get anywhere stuck. Because if you practice, you will become at confident level where you can automate everything by self. Is there a course that you engage that you can engage doing a project? So this is a course where we'll also be doing some kind of project. You will also be given some kind of assignment to work with. After the project completion, whatever the framework that will be developing inside our courses, that framework you have to complete with extending those framework by writing. So in terms of framework, we'll be going through with few of the test cases. Apart from that, you also have to complete those kind of projects, and you can get it verified from my side so that I can suggest you what to use, what to not use in terms of best practices. Okay. I'll again request, if you people have not shared your contact number and name, do provide us so that it will be helpful for us in terms of sharing some kind of documents. Okay. Any other question apart from that? If you have, I'm happy to answer
Yeah.
over here.
s- Uh, Last question regarding Playwright between and Tosca. So I worked with Tosca, and I saw like UI elements are not being fully accessed with the. There is some little discrepancy while accessing UI elements. So with Playwright, is it okay? Like we can access each and every element on the web UI.
You will be able to access each and every element that is visible on the UI as well
Hmm.
as hidden from the UI. So if you want to click on any element which is not visible on the UI, Playwright will also be able
Hmm.
to click on that particular element. So it has a support of visibility and non-visibility element as well. So do not worry for that. I know what happened
Okay.
in terms of Tosca. So Playwright will
So.
also be able to support those.
Mhm. So in Playwright also exception handling system is like Selenium, like stale element exception if we are not able to find the element in DOM structure.
Right. So exception handling is again where so in the, okay. So what happened in terms of exception handling is that is a part of technologies. Exception
Mhm.
handling you can also use in the same way as you have used in terms of Selenium. There is no
Like you
difference
use to
at all.
define exceptions, right? Mhm.
Right. Right. So in terms
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
similar, you can also use inside the Playwright. But generally, you will
Mhm.
see like organizational people refrain from going for exception handling, because if you handle exception, that means you are trying to handle the error that it is throwing inside your test case,
Right, right.
right?
Yeah.
Right. And
Mhm.
that is not required if you are automating test case. Whenever you get an error, it has to throw you an error saying that you have received an error from so and so test case, so that you'll go debug and fix the test case, or else you'll raise the bug for that. And that is the intention of test automation. If you handle the issues or exception that it is throwing, that means we are uh, making it false pass kind of in terms of
Yeah,
a
false
test.
pass sometimes for negative testing. I was thinking like
Right,
sometimes
right.
when
See,
we-
there are different kind of
Mhm.
annotations that we have in terms of Playwright, which you can take the
Okay.
help of. But even
Okay.
exception handling is supported in the same way as it's supported in terms of seven.
Mhm.
Hi Praveen,
Okay.
here Lakshmikant.
Yes, yes,
Basically,
Lakshmikant, yes.
I'm from manual with non-functional testing. So I right now I'm working with one maintenance project from Selenium, like just
Mhm.
whenever I'm getting new elements, just adding that data points as well as exports and update the JSON.
Okay,
I have very basic knowledge in automation. Is it fine to join?
right. So as I mentioned, like who can enroll? There I mentioned this
Yeah,
point.
you
If you do not
mentioned.
have, right. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll give you an example. This is not something that I am starting a course, and that is why I'm saying. So there were lot many people in the past who have done much better than whoever were from the technical background. Okay, and that
Okay.
happens if you just practice it out. Whatever we have gone through, if you just practice it out, you learn in a faster way. So all the things this course have been designed to keep in the mind that there will be people who is freshers, there will be people who is from the non-technical background, there will be people who have worked on manual testing and have no exposure on test automation or a basic exposure. So everything will be covered from the scratch over here as well. So you should be, if you are trying to learn Playwright, you should be enrolling over here to get the concept and see how do you learn, how do you basically utilize your time, and you'll definitely not regret after the course completion.
Okay. And the second thing is my most of the applications are Unix based applications. So is it support backend based
all type
automation?
of all type of
Are you
application
going to
Playwright
cover
will
at
support.
least one flow for Unix
Flow for
systems?
so
Like
see
log in and just go to local MNT workspace and I want to just
right. So if you require that kind of support, I can provide you. But as I said again, that will not be a generic for everyone. And if there are any kind of customized apart from the course content, you can reach back to me. So I'll also provide you those kind of support as well to check how it is working on Linux or Linux.
okay. And you mentioned like Jenkins and Git, right? You are
Yes.
providing how, I mean, how can you accommodate like each account for each and everyone, or it is common?
No, I'll provide you, I'll create my own GitHub account, and
Okay,
from there I can show you how it will be. And in terms of
okay,
practicing, you all can create your own GitHub account and practice from there. So
okay.
you'll see like how
Definitely.
how we basically create. Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other question from? Great. Thanks. Any other question from anyone else? Feel free to ask if you have any kind of questions.
Uh, the last question is like, are we using Orange HRM sites, the basic sites for for demos in demo, or like are we playing with the real-time applications, something like cardeco.com or something like that? Because
That will not be.
most of
Mhm.
the institutions will provide training on some dummy site like Orange HRM. That is a very basic and simple exercise. So that's why I was saying.
No. So this will not be an orange HRM or something.
Mhm,
We have
mhm.
few application which is available for practice in terms of whatever the tools and technology that you'll be using. That will be again a real application we will be going through it.
Okay.
Again, will not be a generic, which is like Orange HRM or cardeco.com or something like that. But you will be working with an application which have been developed in a better way.
Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking like it would contain few test cases that we can execute in a suite, so that will be main agenda. Yeah.
Everything will be covered up. Everything will be taken care of, whatever you have asked as a question. Uh,
Okay.
all the basic concept from entering the text value inside the field and to
Mm-hmm.
the handling of multiple windows, frames, pop-ups, and all will be covered as a part of theoretical as well as practical.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Okay, great, thanks.
Uh,
Pratik,
Praveen,
yes,
here Lakshmikant. Is it
yes,
support at least a basic API's performance, Praveen? Performance
performance
testing?
performance
Usually,
testing
yes,
is
Jmeter
also
support,
supported by.
usually Jmeter support functional as well as performance testing. So Playwright, you told it support API testing, API functional. Is it support performance?
Right. It also supports a basic performance. That is again a separate course that we have for the Playwright and using uh, performance testing, but it also supports a performance as well. A
Like
basic
Jmeter
performance, not
LoadRunner.
in the advanced. Exactly.
Okay.
Not in the detail, a basic coverage that it has given for now for
Okay.
the Playwright.
Okay. Thank you, Praveen.
Okay, great. So Pratik, you're asking like, is this the course for those who want to move? No, this is the course for all type of level. If you have knowledge on any of the tools and technology earlier, that is well and good. If you do not have knowledge on any tools and technology, that will also be taken care over here. So if for someone who is moving to the any of the automation, like the automation tool for the first time, for them also it will be a good course. For someone who is already have experience or they have already worked on any of the tools and technology, for them also will be similarly helpful as it will be for the freshers level or someone who is moving for the first time. Is this course for the no? That is what I believe. Like this is repeated for a couple of times, but this is the same answer and that I've said. This is for person who is from moving for the first time as well as worked on for different tools and technologies. So anyone can enroll over here along with the developer. Aishwarya, for this, you'll have to reach to the people who is in contact with you. They'll be able to answer for this time frame to pay and all. Okay. Any other question from anyone else? Please provide your contact number as well if you have not provided. If you have provided, ignore this. Okay, so I got one more question. Will this be starting with JavaScript first and how many hours of JavaScript? Yes, this will be starting with JavaScript and first 2 weeks of time, which will be 10 hours of JavaScript will be completed before we move to the Playwright. Okay, any other question from anyone else? A lot everyone for joining our first demo session and we'll again continue tomorrow as a part of demo 2 session.